When I grew up being queer, I didn't feel like I was accepted. Me and my wife pride ourselves on making our kids feel loved by really giving them the space to be themselves.
My stepdaughter unfortunately lost her mother to breast cancer when she was 2 years old. And I met her when I'd say she was 4.5. We definitely bonded right away because she really did need a mother figure.
For so many years, especially on the television and in books and in magazines, you only see families that maybe have all blonde hair, that are a mom and a dad with 2 kids and a dog. And so I think when you have these opportunities to see families that are different, it also allows for people to open up their mind a little bit more and realize that this is not all there is.
The beauty and the evolution of parenthood for me is kind of having these expectations and then just like tossing them out the window.
Biff and I became parents quite literally overnight to Biff's sister's kids. She just wasn't able to care for them in the way that they needed and the way that they deserved. Leo joined our family in 2017 when I gave birth to him myself. I'm a transgender man and my partner is not, and so we were actually able to biologically create our own child.
If you have the heart to love a child genuinely and accept them for their flaws or where they're coming from, why would you deny, a family from the LGBTQ community to have a child?
Okay.
It's a great ducky.
It's a great ducky.
Quack, quack,
Quack, quack, quack. Can you give me a chin up, little bug? I'm gonna go tush, 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 tush. How's that feel? Good?
Uh-huh.
What's the coolest thing about our family?
That we love each other.
That's true, right?
This is the letter that we wrote to the birth parents. See?
Robbie.
The feeling when we finally got the call. It was 4 o'clock. Like, hey, congratulations. You pick her up tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
So we had less than 24 hours notice.
Look at all that hair. There's your faux hawk. Look at your faux hawk.
So we drove out to Long Island, went in and met our daughter.
It's Papa's right now. We're about to meet you.
Can't wait to meet you.
You're a daddy, baby. You're a daddy. This is something we've been waiting for 2 years and dreaming of and stressing about, and there was our little girl.
You're gonna make me over?
The first time we saw Ella, we could not believe her hair.
Yes.
She had so much hair.
I think it was the first thing people said. They were like, wait till you see the head of hair on this little girl. And we were like, oh, you weren't joking. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Chin up. Oh!
We've had the same nighttime ritual ever since she was little, right? It's a time for us to connect and just talk.
Yeah. For Ella's hair, it really connects to her heritage.
Looking forward to doing tomorrow.
Her birth mother was Indian and her birth father is from the Caribbean. So we just try to make her have that connection to those cultures. And we just always want her to feel really proud of it. I can hold you in my arms like this.
Love really makes a family. It doesn't matter if you share the same blood. It's funny, dads sometimes get a stigma of not being as aware. And especially as gay dads, I feel this responsibility of showing people, hey, dads can do it too. How's it looking? He's looking good? I think I'm ready for date night.
Yeah.
Ella, can you tell Papa your technique? 'Cause I'm learning.
I'm crying literally because last night my wife washed my hair. And that's like a ritual we have in the house. My wife washed my hair for today. And I do my daughter's hair. I think that a lot of times people don't understand. For a lot of cultures, hair is it's important. It's kind of like a name.
You know, it really reminds me of, we went to a water park a couple years ago and my daughter Haley had long hair and there was just a piece of hair that kept flopping in her face, and so I grabbed it up and I quickly did a French braid in line. And then I look up and all the parents around are just staring because they can't believe that a man could do a braid. I think too, Haley really noticed and appreciated, oh yeah, my family being different it's not a bad thing.
There was a time when Melody had to go to Japan. I had to learn quick, like how to do hair. I started YouTubing like how to do like twist or how to do this with hair. So I watched a few videos and then I got pretty good. A lot of times people would think like, oh, who did her hair? And I'd be like, I did it.
Bravo to Pantene for coming forward and supporting LGBTQ rights and celebrating that families look different, that they're diverse and inclusive, and no one thing makes a family.
So if we're grilling tonight, you got a choice. Yep, okay, chicken's easy. Honey barbecue, teriyaki.
barbecue.
Okay, that's easy.
That's great. You want to go for the bun, right?
Yes.
When we were thinking about having a kid, I was like, hey, let's do this thing where you write down every single thing you want in your kid. Things like strong-willed, independent. Then when this one came out, we went back over the list, we're like, wow.
She hit upon everything and then some on that list. Come on, Joya. For us, it was really important to have Eliza be who she's meant to be. We really foster any interest that she has, any passion that she expresses.
She's the best.
Doing her hair is a regular thing that happens, every week. I think for families, maybe developing a relationship, that's a really great way to develop that trust. And it's just a time to be together and, slow down.
Yes, I'm sure. It's so fun that, when it's done, it looks so good, and I'm like, this was worth it.
Get your sleep cup.
Well, first you have to feel good on the inside. But once you have that, you need to feel good on the outside too. Making sure that her hair looks good. She walks a little bit taller and that smile. I think it allows her inner self to come out.
But now it's your turn.
Oh.
No matter where you fall in the grand scope of things, families are just families. Doesn't matter if you're born into it, adopted into it. We're very different from a lot of people, and yet we work. A family is love, and that's the beauty of it.
Thinking about transracial adoption, thinking about what it means to be raising kids that are from different culture, different ethnicity, different race. Hair is such a big part of that.
One of the things that the mother said in the video that resonated with me is she said, doing hair is a way to foster trust. And it took me back to a moment with my daughter when she was younger. She didn't really like me washing her hair because she was tender-headed. I had to really create an environment to whereas she felt comfortable. Now she looks forward to it, but someone has to trust you to let you, do their hair because it's an intimate act.
I think it's important to see Pantene and big brands support communities all across the board. At the end of the day, they want their independence, but then that quality time that you get when you have moments together, it's worth it. And then the outcome, they stand a little taller.
I've used Pantene over the years. And so when they decided to use the hair story and connect it to people's heritage, I thought it was beautiful.
Sawyer is an old soul. She is our spunky and creative kiddo. Sawyer also happens to be a transgender girl. I remember the first time she was out in the community wearing the clothing she wanted in her hair, and she kind of was herself. And that was the first day where I saw her. She has always been super gender creative, and hair has been a big part of her transition. Once she told us that she identified as a girl, she immediately wanted to grow her hair out.
It made me feel good and confident, and it made my insides match my outsides.
This was a kid who knew who she was from such a young age, and As a mom, you always worry about your kids being loved and accepted. So I'm always telling Sawyer to never hide who she is, always be herself, never be afraid to step out and exist as the person that she is.
Our family motto is everybody loves everybody no matter what path you follow. It means I can be who I am no matter what. It doesn't matter because everybody loves me. My advice is just be yourself and don't let anybody tell you who you are.
If every child could be so lucky as to have parents like Sawyer has, who just say, be you, and feel good about that no matter what, you know? And for a little girl like Sawyer to have this be a huge part of her identity, to want to have long hair, to have her insides and outsides match, feels really good.
Lily's at 10 and a half. She really, it's at that pivotal point, especially for a girl, where they're trying to find their sense of self. I definitely think that that's a big part of kind of going through this almost puberty transition is for her to have an attachment to her hair.
My trans journey was a little more complicated than this one. I didn't feel like I was trans when I was a kid. I didn't think about gender at all when I was a kid. And it really wasn't until I was much older that the language existed, that I was really able to do some introspection and realize, oh, I'm not broken. I'm just transgender. I didn't have the language for it. So it's not that my parents weren't supportive, it's that they didn't have a chance to be supportive because I didn't know how to ask for what I needed.
I remember being pregnant and finding out that we were having a son after 2 daughters. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm going to have my little sports player. He's going to be athletic. He's thinking about all of these things that I just naturally imagined. To be the best parent that I can possibly be for both of us is to really just encourage who they truly are.
For my kids to be able to see videos like this, to be able to see, oh, they look like us in some way. That's really empowering for them. It makes them feel less alone. It makes them feel less different. My hope is that any kid who can really figure out and assert themselves and have a core sense of confidence and security goes out into the world, and that confidence is never shaken. That means when they encounter people who are different from them, they're not threatened by that. They're excited, they're curious, they're open.
I think it's very important that Pantene steps up and say that they support LGBTQ community, because representation matters. And so when someone supports my community, I think it's a beautiful thing, because it normalizes something that to me is already normal.